Well, she has family out there. Everybody loves their minds of it. I'm like, what is the big deal, guys? It's part of the country. Wow.
Get it? Yeah, we find that's coming up.
People getting married because of it. That's just weird.
Well, my younger son got married during the last eclipse in May.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The world's still going?
We actually
I know, it's like, I
experienced.
mean, everybody thought like there was gonna be.
I see
End
that
of the
your-
world,
I see that your
rapture, I
house
don't
up
know, everybody's
on the
weird.
market.
Yeah,
Any hits?
we've had some visits, I mean, we've had 4 visits so far with different people, but nothing. It may take a while.
It's gonna, yeah.
The comments are, beautiful house, beautiful yard. A little big for a lot of people.
Oh, the corner lot. How many square feet is a lot?
The garage isn't big enough of,
8,000, 9,000?
I'm pulling my office.
It's got a full backyard with pergolas and waterfalls and all kinds of stuff and sheds. And then the house is.
Could you survive? Could you put a flag lot on it?
Oh.
Because I didn't say this, but okay, you got it up, so I'll just. Yeah.
We are not having it. Good.
That's better, okay.
Sometimes you get 2 devices right next to each other.
It's a lot of feedback, yep.
Yeah. Okay,
We're late.
let's get started here.
You guys?
Jackie, you got the.
I got them.
Thank you.
No, it's true.
Okay,
But I didn't
we-
remember seeing the
well,
minutes.
as soon as Spencer tells me we're on one,
I heard we were in the program.
Alright, so.
It's recording.
Check.
He's still a super animal. Super animal. I read one thing, police department was out there yesterday.
we're good?
We're good.
Okay,
Little ladies are receiving news now.
I can't see anyone. Is the camera on?
you're good.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
Sorry.
Wonderful. Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, good morning, folks. This is the Canby Traffic Safety Commission meeting for April 10th, 2024, starting at a little after 8:30. Let's go around so that we can introduce ourselves. Jackie?
I'm Jackie Jones.
Eric Renzel.
Clint Coleman, traffic safety member.
Deanna Baltar.
Spencer Pollock, Public Works.
Gary Bryant, traffic safety committee member.
Council President Tracy Hensley, I am the liaison to this commission.
Jerry Nelzine can be Public Works Director.
Bob Canberra, running this meeting this morning. And on the screen,
I'm Brianna Adada. I'm from Canby Planning.
thank you. All righty. We do not have our minutes from the previous March 13th minutes available at this point in time. They will be available in a week or so. We will not be approving the January 13th meeting minutes today. We will approve both this minutes and today's minutes at our next meeting.
You mean the February minutes, right? You said January.
I'm sorry. It
March.
was the March,
Oh, yeah.
March 13th minutes,
Okay.
and then we'll approve also April, this minutes today. Jackie will be taking the minutes today. And then next time, going down the list. Deanne, you're up,
Okay.
okay?
Yeah.
So you will be doing, and I gotta keep track of these. You will be doing the May meeting. Okay, and then for our main meeting, Eric will be taking on that. He is the elected chairperson, and he will be assuming the running the meetings from then on. I'm just filling in so that he can get a bad example of how to run meetings. Okay? All righty, we were supposed to have some citizens, today.
Stuck in traffic.
They were gonna both join us on Zoom.
Sorry.
But I will cover both of the issues that are coming up for them, okay?
Okay.
And so we're moving along. Because Penny emailed me this morning that she was Penny Kistner. She appeared before,
Yes, last month,
from, North Holly Street. And we did an excellent job of the police responding to the traffic study that had been done. Thank you, Spencer, for that work. Plus, Spencer was kind enough to put up a sign, at, Knightsbridge and, North Holly that indicates that, that is the traffic does not stop on North Holly, that it is a true street. So those people coming on Knightsbridge need to stop and not expect that people will stop. So we took care of those two issues. The last time, she requested a four-way stop at North Holly and Kent. And we discussed that issue. And I was of the opinion that we said that we don't put stop signs on roadways just to stop the speeding traffic, especially what would the criteria, the national criteria is you need to have a rough, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to have a rough flow of traffic on both lanes. They need to have some semblance, or what you're gonna get is people then disregarding the stop sign and creating more traffic problems. So we, at that last month, I think we said, no, Penny asked that we reconsider that decision and bring it up again. So I am put it out to the committee for consideration about installing a four-way stop at North Holly and Kent.
I think too, if I could add to that, Officer Miller also believed that the timing is not good for that. That's,
Any other discussion?
I know the other day I was over there and, it was not busy at the time that I happened to be driving by there. So, I think that Holly Street is more busy probably during rush hour times. And so, I don't feel like it really needs it at this time, maybe as new subdivisions go in. Cause I know the north side has been expanding some and there's more growth happening. Maybe at that time we might need to put it in.
Any other comments?
well, I think too, just one more thing, my impression is, because I go down Holly a fair amount, getting home and work, people approaching on 10th on either side, you just wonder sometimes if they realize that's a stop. And I think as time marches on, and hopefully there comes sidewalks and it becomes eligible for crosswalks, then at that time it may be warranted.
I still think that, the issue is speed, not flow of traffic per se. Like,
Isn't this the one that had like a 75-mile-an-hour?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking.
So I think, at some point, this committee needs to deal with the issue of speed, where police officers are doing an excellent job, but they are limited in force as far as how they can be there. That the whole issue about camera enforced speed is an issue that this city needs to come to grips with. And I'm sure Eric can report maybe on the latest development legislatively about what will open up an avenue for the city. Anyway, I wanted to state, you know, we're dancing around putting a four-way stop when the issue really is speed and complying with adequate signage, because we have adequate speed signage.
I think I asked, how many signs are on Holly? How many times, how many 25-mile-per-hour signs are on Holly itself?
There's one out there.
I'm on my way
Well,
home.
there's one.
I
There's
was
one down there.
looking at my notes and I realized that I forgot I was supposed to count those.
Well, there's one
And I
right
drive it every
I
day,
do too.
but I think that there are two in each direction for during this stretch.
Hey, Bob?
Yes.
I don't know if you're aware, but Joe Clifford joined us. when
Oh,
we
good.
Started discussion.
Okay, Joe, we'll be with you in a second. We're gonna finish up this one issue. So, do I have anybody interested in making a motion on this issue?
I make a motion that we do not put a stop sign at 10th and Holly.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
I second that.
All those in favor of the motion, which is that we not put a stop sign at a four-way stop at North Holly and 10th, say aye. Opposed? All righty, okay. That has been decided, reinforced. On the camera, we have Mr. Clifford. Hello, Joe, good morning.
Hello.
Thank you for making some time to join us. Yeah, I believe you have two issues that you want to discuss. One is the speeding on South Knox and also lighting. Is that right?
It's not.
Yeah.
What I say something?
He's always called it.
He always called it Knox, but it's not. She's trying
You
to.
know,
get it.
everybody has some learning disabilities, and mine are very apparent.
We can translate.
Okay, good. I readily admit that, you know, poor Portuguese boy from sugar plantations don't always make it good. All right. We shared, thanks to Public Works, they did an excellent traffic study, gathered the data, and I believe I sent it out. Oh, great, thank you. It is up on the screen.
We will miss these wonderful reports.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
just send him the data and have him present the
Um,
report.
You're gonna make me do it now, right?
As if you've had a chance to review the data, let me just capture it by that there is a relatively small flow, I mean, comparatively, everything is in comparison, right? You have to compare things. The amount of traffic flow on a daily basis is a lot slower than most of the streets that, bigger streets. And when you go down to look at the speed data, which is based upon 25, you find that there is an extremely high, the traffic is up around 97% is within 5 miles of the speed limit, which is quite unheard of, you know.
As compared to a lot of the other ones that we've.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the compliance is high, and so you have a relatively small number of vehicles that are speeding. That's not to dismiss that these vehicles aren't speeding. It's just that the number is very small. And I would take you down to the very bottom of the study, where I tried to look at the two of the busier days. And what I tried to do is block in, you know, try to find a speeder, because I mean, there are some speeders, like I said, but they're so dispersed that it's hard to enforce it.
Mhm.
At least in my point of view, if a police officer went to, and these are two of the busiest days, if you keep going down. And you can see the patterns the same, northbound and southbound.
Yeah, we probably live there, they're just trying to get home quick.
Yeah, you know, so you get a slight cluster. It's hard for. How many cars today?
Roughly 200, I think.
In a day. Wow.
That's a little. Yeah.
So I mean, it's,
2000.
I don't know what we can, anyway, this is the pattern. And I don't have too much to say. Joe, do you have anything you want to say? I mean, this is your opportunity to discuss, but we'd like to provide data to make decisions based upon.
No, I want to thank the people for producing a report. It does provide some insights. I guess, you know, my concerns are, you know, and maybe you can share with me because I don't know, but is there just pure quantity of people traveling our street? Is that a low number compared to other streets in Canby, or is that a high number?
Well, I can give you 2 reference points, okay?
Even now.
Say for example, now I'm gonna give you a street that's very busy, okay? That we just did, North Holly. North Holly Street has an average daily of 2,170. Compared to your street, which is 256, okay?
Okay.
And that's just one way, I'm giving one way as opposed to 2 ways, okay?
Okay.
And then we look at South Pine, okay? South Pine is, has closer to your reference point, which was on a daily basis, they get 289. And it was the same kind of traffic problem, you know, but they just don't have a flow, you know? And they don't have they didn't have the breakdown of speeders. The compliance was the same. So when we reach one of these smaller streets, it becomes really difficult because the numbers and the speeding is diverse. They're spread out they don't have clusters that we can send a police officer in and you know, make an impact. I'm gonna preach one of my pet peeves is that this is the kind of situation where if we had a mobile computer enforced speed thing, you know, you could bring it into a neighborhood, set it up for a few days, get an impact on the people that are probably clustered around who are speeding, and get an impact on them, and then you can take it away and you have some impact, you know? I'm not too sure what else to tell you. The only other suggestion I have is, the police department does have a mobile speed flasher that a citizen can go onto the Canby Police Department website and fill out that request, and they will then deliver it to that area. It's kind of a popular device, so you may know that it's not going to come out immediately, but if you put yourself in that loop, it's a pretty big one. So that's always a good suggestion.
Yeah, I have to jump off in about
Okay.
probably 5.
So let's
So
quickly
so
to lights.
Yeah, let's talk about lights. So I was wondering if towards Township Road, if it might be possible to get an additional street light or two, because towards Township, it's not as well lit as you approach the higher density south end. So I was just curious if what would need to happen to get a light or two on the north end.
So Joe, like we had talked about on the phone, a couple weeks ago, I think it was, when I reached out to you, I talked with the power company, and depending on exactly where we wanted to put the light, it wouldn't be that difficult. Right now, I think that where the line dead ends, overhead, that would make it really easy. Show you real quick, is, kind of right here is where the overhead power stops. And so there is a pole right here that the power company said it'd be really easy to throw a light up on that right there. They just asked if we can wait until maybe we get for sure drawings for the townhome development that's going in this location, and have it go in, not with that project, but kind of around that project. So they're aware of it. I've talked with them. It's something that I've kind of already preemptively budgeted for at least getting a light in this location.
Okay, would that be on the 493 side or the 494 side?
It would be on the 490, right here at the property line of 490. So
Okay.
let me show you real quick on a street view.
I live there, so I know where you're at. So
We would basically just be using this power pole right here to add a street light onto it.
okay.
And I take it there's gonna be a street light coming in with the new development, right?
That would be where I'm talking about, is right there, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Would definitely increase visibility. So appreciate that very much. So maybe within a year, or what do you think? Or does it kind of depend on Mr. Bristol, who's doing the new development?
I am waiting a little bit on him, but if it takes too long, then we'll probably just go ahead and move forward with that.
Okay.
And
Yeah. Part of the reason I kind of brought up the speed and traffic issue on the street too is, this new development and, the concern of more congestion with more people there and whatnot. I also know we have, a few parents with younger kids, and, it just, they don't have to be driving too fast to, hit and hurt a kid quite badly with a car. I mean, 25 miles per hour, you could do some damage to a kid. So I was just seeing what the study would show and seeing if it made sense, and seeing what my options were for improving safety on the street. It sounds like speed bumps are definitely not an option, although I think they're the best deterrent. But maybe, would you say my best option would be to do the flashing thing with the police department, or what does the committee recommend?
I think that would be your quickest option to have an impact. And something that you can repeat over and over again. In addition, Joe, I want to let you know that you can always come back say 6 months, a year from now, if you think that traffic has, you know, increased a lot, and we can put you in our chain of revisiting the speed data, okay?
Okay.
We get a lot of,
No, I-
so, you know, sometimes we, you know, have to put you out, but I always, after some period of time, we really are willing to revisit the issue, you know? Because
No,
things,
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the committee's efforts as well as Public Work and Spencer's feedback. Yeah, Spencer, our call got cut off, so I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure where we were at, but thanks for the update. So I've got to jump, but I appreciate the committee's efforts and the feedback. Thank you very much.
take care, Joe.
Thank you. Bye.
And I will add that light to our CIP
Oh,
issues that we track. So we don't lose. Not that Spencer doesn't have a great mind, of tracking.
it's not getting any better. I can promise that.
All right, moving on. Is there any questions about the citizen input? We have a high priority of trying to meet our citizens, you know, requests and trying to provide good data, good response to them. So I'd like to once again, compliment the committee on the sense that, you know, we have a regular flow of citizens coming to the committee, and they must have something feeling that they're getting some kind of response. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna jump to new business because Jerry is here and he wants to talk to the committee about an important issue. But he has some other stuff that need to go. So we're gonna jump to new business, which is the City Maintenance Fee Review Committee, nominating a commission representative and a discussion the importance of this funds. So turn it over to you.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, so I believe it was a council goal too, right? Tracy, is to revisit the city street maintenance fee. Right now, it's a $5 per household that comes in, and I think it produces what's 700,000 a year coming in. And so what we wanted to do is it's been, we didn't make it inflation based, just a set price, and that went in, it was activated in, I think, 2008. So it's been the same, and we're struggling with keeping up, and we're trying to keep our CIP rating, which is how we rate our roads, the CPI rating at a certain level, and we're struggling, we're starting to decline on that. So what we want to do is put together a task force to look into all the information data that can provide where we're going, what it's going to cost, get it, and then basically go through all of it, get the committee together, make a decision, and make a recommendation to city council to what to do with this fee, whether to get rid of it, whether to keep it the same, whether to raise it, all that. So what we want to do is we're pulling we're getting some people off, we're getting a planning commissioner. Kathy Robinson's gonna pick someone from her community group. We've got 2 city councilors, I think, Councilor Hensley and Councilor Padden. Is gonna be on it. I got 1 person from the north side as just a community member. And we got a business owner from the industrial park and a business owner from the south side. So I was hoping we could have a volunteer or pick someone for this group to be on this committee. What it'll be is a couple evening meetings too. I'm hoping not more than 3 to get all this information together and make a recommendation to council. So that's kind of, if there's any questions before you guys talk about it, I'm here to answer them.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay.
Any willing to do it if, well,
I can do it. I mean,
yeah, let's have Eric do it.
I knew that Clint was gonna jump in, but then it does not surprise me.
I don't know, I could step into it.
Okay, I have
So we have 3 volunteers.
We
Let's
have
just vote on who you
the
want.
alternative, we have Eric and, did I hear you, Jackie?
Yeah, I can be an alternative.
Jackie,
Whatever you need me to be. It's only a couple of evenings.
what's your thoughts?
Fine.
Yeah.
We got 3
1, 2.
volunteers.
3, we're trying to keep it to 11.
Yeah.
And we got 2 planning committee, everyone, we end up with all these extras. I mean, I have no issues with 2. It's just gonna get, I'm worried that we get too many people and we get too many, if we can get this done, but I mean, we're gonna have 2 planning commissioners. I don't know
What do
what
we have so far? Is this your list?
I've started, I got 1 from the adult center, I got Matt Weber, Teresa Sassy, Daniel Godfrey, he owns the Parsons Building.
Oh, yeah.
And then 1 from the adult center. And then I got Laura Hubbard wanted to be on it, you know her? Okay, she's a Northside community member, just like a citizen.
Okay.
And then it'll be Jason, Eileen, myself, and then we had 2, and then Jason Patton, or Don Hardy will have a planner. Who's the planner, Brianna, do you know? Is it gonna be Dawn or?
It's gonna be either myself or Emma, depending on the days, just our availability, but one of the associate planners will be available.
And then, we were gonna have someone from Bridge and Cultures.
11.
And then,
You're gonna have to have more than 11 apparently,
yeah,
because there's a group that's being missed here.
I know there's more.
Very, very upset at the 2008 meetings.
Churches.
The church group, you gotta have at least one pastor.
You gotta have your 12
So
sectors.
you're gonna have about
Eileen didn't,
You gotta have at least one pastor in there because the
You're-
churches were upset that they
you're
were
gonna have
getting
to-
taxed.
you're gonna have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
So we can have 2 from this.
everybody
one.
needs to be represented.
What I wanna do is bring the list. I think we're gonna have a meeting. So I'll say 2 traffic safety.
And whoever, I mean, I don't have to.
I think we can do one. I
One?
mean, you just need to decide amongst yourselves what it's gonna be.
Okay, so Jackie and Eric, you guys can.
To council,
I have other things.
but
going
I
on,
do
so
need
don't
to
worry.
mention to Eileen.
Well, I mentioned it in the meeting when we first talked about this, that
Mm-hmm.
the churches need to be represented. I remembered that. So,
Sir, would you like to?
What's that? No, I'm happy to do it if you don't want to do it.
and I'm happy to do the outreach to find out which pastor wants to do it. I just,
Okay,
somebody. has to
Eric?
be-
He's gonna do it.
Okay,
I
I
don't,
don't need to be.
I don't need to add away from it.
okay,
I think
Eric.
that sounds interesting.
Eric, okay.
It sounds interesting.
So how do you want to do it?
If you wanna throw one,
Are any of you guys go to the church?
No.
I can nominate some people.
I can only go so far underneath the bus.
Okay,
Believe me, only so
Oh,
far.
but if you find me one, I can put the person on list.
I'm working on it as we speak.
Yeah, you guys work on the
I'm
side.
good. I had one.
Traffic safety wise.
I just wanna comment, one comment as I'm getting about this, street maintenance.
Mhm.
This amount of $700,000 is very inadequate. I'd like to ask him, Jerry, how much did we spend on just doing North Locust Street from 10th to 4th? I think it was over $1 million.
1.2 million was the whole project, but, are you talking about just paving?
Just paving sidewalk, whatever, upgrading that roadway.
Oh, 900. That's $940,000.
And that was a relatively small piece of roadway. And it ate up over the whole budget of street maintenance.
This task force is gonna be good because I have all the information to show what it costs to what we'd have to raise it just to keep, you know how our roads are now, right? How they are at this point. We have to raise it so much just to keep it at that point.
Well, hopefully not like.
Not- Yeah, no, that's a
Sorry.
lot, yeah, but no, it's not, it wouldn't be, it could be, if the community wanted to have perfect roads, it could be expensive, but.
And what is street maintenance used for? Is it for
Just
development of new
between-
roads
no.
or is it
Repair.
used for just repairs?
We do a study every so year years and they rate the roads. And we take we take the worst ones and put them on the list and redo them, and it's between the curbs.
Curb to curb,
Just
paving only.
rock and paving, anything, like if you gotta dig it out and fix a soft spot, we squeeze that into it even, cause that was even temperamental, but it's between the curbs. So just blacktop basically.
Okay.
And the study's done how often?
And the study, we've done it twice and we're due to do a third time, so every, 10 years.
So what is our CPI now and what is our goal?
We're at
The last rating was at a
72 at 100. 100's perfect, 0's mud. So we're at a 72 2 years ago when we did our study. I've been trying to do this for a couple of years.
Mhm.
And where was I going with that?
Well, 100's perfect. What's your goal? What's
Oh,
your idea?
That's what I wanted to do I've always wanted that to be a council goal. Like
Be perfect.
what
goal rating.
goal rating a
There's
council,
only one
because
that's perfect.
me, I want 100. You know what I mean? But I would like to stay at like a 75 or higher.
Let's go for 80.
80 would be awesome, but in this, when whoever goes to this meeting, and you'll be able to report back to this committee too, but it'll show you exactly how much per household it's gonna cost to raise at each point.
And I take it should be noted that all these new developments that add new streets, I bet the amount of development doesn't equate to an appreciable increase to take care of those streets. So in effect, with every development, you are further stretching the street maintenance fund, because they don't equate out. You put in 20 houses and you create 2 roads. Those 20 houses do not pay enough to take care of those 2 roads.
Right.
So, what I mean, every year you get more development, you're actually kind of, beating yourself a little bit.
We actually, Public Works just got all of our, fund balances and reserves. So Spencer, Dave Connor, myself, some of us senior people went through all of it, and Spencer could show you the CIP we developed, the roads, the projects we're doing this year, we got it all finalized. If you guys want to see it before, and
Yes.
we have a healthy fund balance in streets after our 5-year CIP of doing it. So your Public Works crew, we've struggled getting that number the last couple of years because of the turnover in finance, but I was pretty happy. If the numbers they gave us were accurate, we're setting really good. So
And what is our CIP projects that we're gonna be doing, just as a side trip?
yep, it's pretty, we've worked on this, and it's a pretty good plan, I think.
This might take me a second
No.
because the other monitors.
So
we.
We've solved the basic issue. You've got Eric as our representative. And so,
Okay,
do I need a motion for that, or is it just cool?
I think. you got
I'm
consensus.
fine with it, but yeah.
Okay, by consensus, put it in the minutes, by consensus, Eric will be our representative to the Street Maintenance Fee Review Committee. All right. While he's looking up for the CIP, because it's on our little to-do list.
25 budget, Spencer, right there.
Problem is
Is it over on that
that
screen?
monitor won't turn
I
on.
want to turn on.
I don't know. I've been fighting with it all morning.
You tried the right remote?
That one doesn't use any of the remotes.
Okay,
No.
so while we're doing
This
that,
one doesn't have a remote.
let's go back to the old business now. One of the subcommittees, utilization media for education on traffic concerns, asked for us to give them time. They've been working really hard. So Jackie and Ian, I turn it up to you guys to report what you guys are doing.
I'm sorry.
Okay, Jackie, myself, and Officer Miller met just over a couple weeks ago, just to discuss about doing the Facebook page. And we were discussing options of like different names and different things and what we want to present. Officer Miller was gonna try to talk to, the chief of police, just to make sure that he's okay with, having a website on Facebook, because some of the stuff that Canby Police shares, we were talking about maybe being able to share it on the Facebook page. For example, it was discussed about when there's an accident in the area. I know for myself, I have Pulse Point on my phone. I think Jackie does as well. And I always try to alert my neighborhood association of things happening in the city or whatever, so trying to share it to be feasible. And then also talking about doing different videos to, or pictures showing people trying to cross the street, just showing people what they need to be able to do to be cautious of. I know the other day, just with traffic on 99E being such a mess, I'm finding that when I'm driving by First Street now, I'm being more cognitive of watching for possible pedestrian coming out of nowhere. And so just trying to make it where we show videos or pictures within the community to make it be our own, but not have it segregated to like where Jackie and I live, but being for the whole community.
Then we did, set up a Facebook page,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I can send out what that's called. It's a community that Deanne and I and Officer Miller are admitting the page, so we can make sure it's controlled, that it doesn't turn into, that we can keep an eye.
What's it called?
I'll have to send it out to you. It's like the Canby Safe, the city of Canby's Traffic Safety Commission, not even commissioning. Do you remember what it's called? I set it up and it's,
Canby Traffic Safety, I think.
yeah, sorry.
That's good. Good job, you guys.
So we just want to know, I guess what our ask is like, is what we just mentioned, is that what you guys want to see on this page? You want less or more?
I think it's fantastic that you got a page up and that you've got things that you're gonna put on. And
We didn't make it live, but I had it such a private until we came here.
Yeah, we wanted to wait to make it live until after we had the meeting, just to make sure everyone's okay with it.
It's got 3
And
members.
Yeah.
Canby Traffic Safety, it's a group,
Yes.
it's not a page, so that people have to join it though, so that's actually harder for the community to actually just go see it.
Mhm.
It's easier if you have a page and then they just go like it.
Oh,
I think I wanted to make sure they could comment if they have questions. Because for the page, you can't go and comment on anything. Right?
Oh, yeah, you can,
Okay,
yeah, yeah, cause I have a page, yeah, that's it. I have a page for council, and people love to comment.
well, you can change it to a page, that won't be hard to do. If that's what this group would like.
Yeah, I think a page would be good.
What is your suggestion on though, on, keeping caustic commentary at bay?
Oh, if you're just wanting to put out like a PSA and you don't want to comment, just shut up.
Yeah.
That's
I'm familiar with doing.
Yeah,
I don't think, I mean, with some of the smart aleck commentary that floats around out there, I don't necessarily think it's necessary to have. all
yeah,
the comments.
you can close comments, you can shut it off so that you can comment.
Because Officer Miller was, I think he wanted to make sure we'd have some commenting on things. If people had questions.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can comment.
but we can always, like if somebody, I know for the HOA that I monitor, sometimes people may try to get out of line or try to talk about somebody, and I just go in and just block the person or the comment to them that block the comment that was made, and then write to a person saying that, hey, that's not what this page is about.
Yeah, and you can also filter. You have to go into the settings, but you can
Yeah.
filter out certain words.
Those trigger words.
Yeah, so that
Those are
you can eliminate curse words and things
Very
like that.
handy.
Yeah,
And you
I
can
have to
put a-
do that on a
put a
page I was
warning.
admin on.
you put a warning on the page, like, comments are desirable, but yeah, we ask for positive comments as, that are positive for the community instead of,
Well, you kind of wanna, you don't wanna deter people
No.
from having a comment that's negative necessarily, but they need to frame it so that it's not
We don't,
disrespectful.
we don't let bullying happen.
That's a better word. Instead of negative, disrespect.
Yeah, keep your comments respectful.
Yeah.
Very good.
So just to make sure, this is because is this representative of the Traffic Safety Commission?
It's kind of like a,
Or is this
it's kind of like the city, like the friends of the dog park.
the Friends of the Traffic Safety?
Yes.
It's called traffic
Okay.
safety, it's not,
Okay.
it's not actually attached to the committee.
It's one of our efforts, if I get it, it's an effort to educate, but it's not directly from the traffic
It's
safety.
not sanctioned
Commission.
by the city.
Okay.
Because technically, anything that.
That's what I was trying to
As
get.
a citizen, we realize how important it is to educate the community on the safety, but the city does not want to be,
Correct,
so we're volunteering our time.
yes.
And then also, Officer Miller, Jackie and I all agreed that what we do is with the three of us administrating it, that we will be communicating with each other so that then we're not all three posting the same thing. So just trying to figure out, okay, who's got time to maybe post this, okay, if you, and so we'll be just texting or.
And I guess all three of you will kind of reach consensus that something before it gets posted is acceptable to all three, so that there's a three lenses looking at something instead of just one person.
Correct.
Cool, that is terrific, just as I.
Good job.
Good job. Well, this has been a long time in
Oh, yeah.
discussion and I'm glad it's coming
I've
today.
been wanting to do this for a long time.
When do you guys think you'll get the,
Oh, I can probably get that. Well, I want to make sure Officer Miller's aware.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
I wanna-
I'm not
hopefully that
rushing,
doesn't
I'm
change
just saying,
anything.
a timetable by next month or before?
I think
next month?
unfortunately he wasn't here due to that accident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so are you thinking by next month or
Oh,
by
we
this?
probably by the end of the week.
Okay, look forward to it. You're gonna send us the website?
The link to the Facebook page.
Okay, great.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving back. Well, last time still on the agenda is, and I don't know where this is at, the continued discussion draft of a city ordinance criteria for lowering speeds to 20 miles an hour.
Are we gonna look at that CIP first or?
Do you want to do that now or?
Oh, yes,
do that
I'm
later?
sorry. No, CIP, let's look at the CIP, the ones that are on the list. Check what my list is.
Yeah, it'd be nice for you guys to look at it before it goes to council. The budget committee.
Okay,
Spencer kind of did this, he added this funding source so that you can see that it's funded out of different departments.
Oh, I like that.
And the highlighted ones are the ones that we're kind of working on, the colored ones. And so we got the industrial park, and then our fuel station that we've been working on, it's just been a slow go. And then our normal day-to-day, every year, street maintenance project that Spencer works on. The North Pine realignment, which is Counselor Hensley's kind of favorite one, I think. That one's looking pretty good to happen. We got all the property owners on board, I think, so it's a go, it's in design right now. And then 10th Avenue, it's in design, so we're gonna put it, hopefully it'll be complete. Both of those two will be done in next year's budget.
what about North Maple?
Maple's pushed out, we just pushed it out a ways, and it's out to, what year is that? 27, 28, because when we were trying to figure out all our funding to make sure what we can afford over the years. So those will move next year when we recreate this on what fits with what we have for money. And was that it, Spencer, on streets project? I guess
Pretty much for streets and then, I mean,
South Township and Ivy, isn't that supposed to get in?
South Ivy Street is
Not
seller. It's out to bid and getting ready to start construction right now.
Okay.
The Eagle Alsner was a little bit on it, and so that's happening.
Oh, okay.
I'm not rushing them because of what's going on 29. I mean, they're pretty close to the road, but yeah, so we're excited about Ivy Street. That's gonna be a fun project, but So that's kind of, I think, what your guys' recommendation was for these projects, I think.
Yeah, our project list was North 10th Street, North Pine Alignment.
Yep.
Walnut Street, and North Maple.
It's,
And that's the territorial one as opposed to North Maple,
I kind of,
all of it, you know, I mean. The reason why there's a difference is because the North Maple from the park to territorial is one. And then there's North Maple from territorial down to the river, and the river one has been the most, in my mind, in my personal concern, is from territorial to the golf course, you know what I mean?
is it on there? I don't see it. Both of them are on there?
Yeah, you got two.
That's, North Maple, north of Territorial.
Yeah, and then the other one's right here.
Okay, perfect, they're both on. We're planning on 26, 27 on those, but if they fit in, we could maybe get engineering rolling in 25, 26, or maybe, I don't know, just we got a lot of work going and all these projects are gonna seem like they're gonna start at once. Industrial park connection. We're submitting plans to ODOT soon and they got 4 to 6 month review. We hope to start, if ODOT stays on their schedule, we hope to break ground next summer.
That's Walnut.
On Walnut Street connection, and then Ivy is a 2-year project. We're gonna break it up into phases, so it's gonna be going on, and then 10th Avenue is a huge project undertaking, so that's gonna be going there. So we kind of just push these other ones out a little bit, but they can be adjusted next year. And you're moving, so someone else will have to start pushing for. And I'm starting to get a lot of heat, and the mayor's getting a lot of heat on North Pine. From territorial to where our primary line ends up at 8. And so it's a county road. They didn't offer us enough to take it. I know an email just went to the mayor yesterday about it, so maybe it'll jump up on the council poll next year or something.
Okay, any other discussion?
Just one, that's a little off track, but, with North Redwood getting built out, do you know the status on that repaving of North Redwood?
That's happening this summer,
Oh, okay.
After July, if our council approves it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's an issue that, I know, that's fantastic.
It's terrible.
So that's good news. We're actually getting, we're taking over these roads and actually getting to pave them, so.
Yeah, no, that's super.
And I think as a committee, you may want to look at when developments go on. Planning is the half a street being developed. That's an issue that should be relooked at, how we can avoid these half street developments. I don't know where the money comes from. But that is a problem when you develop half a street and the other half is deteriorates, then that means almost that if when time you have money to do the other half, you're gonna have to cut up that street anyway, and I can't imagine it doesn't undermine the good part that was already done. I don't know the answer, but that is not a good idea.
The other thing I wanted to report real quick too is Spencer's been working on it. He deserves the credit, but he's got our paving list done. It's out to bid, and also like $600,000 worth of downtown alley repairs that is gonna be out of urban renewal funds. So,
Good job.
Nice.
yeah. And so
Speeding
it's,
through the alleys now?
There will be.
Hmm.
We just need to make sure that.
but yeah, so, and those will be funded out of urban renewal. Thanks, Councilor Hensley, for the urban renewal funds.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Yes, thank you, sir. Going back to that draft, the city ordinance criteria for lowering limits to 20 per hour. We discussed some criteria. I believe we had suggestions February 14th. This is what I had from this, okay? It maybe I'm wrong. Existing area has multiple curves instead of regular curves. Small roadways with creating greater congestion impaired vision, proximity to park, school, roundabouts. House density is greater number of people with traffic in small area, community agreement. Having some type of community agreement that example was 75% of the affected community members would actually agree with and approve this move. Consideration of effects on surrounding neighborhood areas, kind of nebulous, but and the local residential category fits the state law restriction. And then I know there's a restrict, but I'm not too sure what that actually,
It was for local streets only.
okay, local street zone.
Can I add one thing? So if we were to give that neighborhood the approval, I don't know of any other neighborhood in their community that, well, number one, has community consensus, has the roll-up sidewalks, and that's super high density congestion. I mean, is there any other eligible neighborhoods in Canby that would hit all the marks?
Not that I can think of
Not
off
at
the,
this time.
not at this time.
I mean, who knows? what
Currently at this
age and all that,
time,
but-
Okay.
And so I think that's kind of always been the whole question is, I think everybody that looks at this one development can sit there and agree that, hey, it makes sense in this location, but what are a set of rules that can be applied across the board? And I think that's kind of where we've got a whole bunch of really good suggestions, but I don't know if any of them have been detailed enough to make it work for
Somebody else.
applying it to anything, if that, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So what do we have to do to move this forward or to drop it? If we're gonna move it forward, then we should move it to either work with you so that, Tracy, so that we can get it definable so that the city council feels comfortable with it and Public Works feels comfortable with it,
And planning as well.
and planning it as well. So
What if we were to do this? What if our group were to make a recommendation to the council that they approve this reduction in speed if the neighborhood meets this criteria that you outlined?
yeah, and the question is, I agree with you, that's our goal. Now, how definitive and how specific does these criteria have to be to meet planning department, okay, that it's, definable, enforceable, and city council saying this is a good criteria because you can understand it when you see it. Yeah.
Okay, how about we approach this as we had a member from the community ask us to lower it. These are the inputs that we got out of that. Can we just role play it out and define real quickly? Like, I'll be the member, another member coming in from township community and applying for this decrease and use those, and we'll just say them out loud and see if it makes sense and what we're concerned about, because obviously we have a foundation. We're just asking for that final.
We're asking for the final. So to me, on everything that's on that list, the only thing that is a measurable metric that right now I can see on that list and see whether or not something meets or not is the mountable curbs. Housing density, like, yes, that is a metric, but we haven't defined what the metric is. Is it zone R1, R15, R2?
Okay.
I think that those would be the actual metrics that need to go into it. Is it within X amount of blocks of a school? Because just to say, oh, it's in the area of a school, well,
That's every place in town.
what are the definite metrics
Okay.
that actually,
I think the density and the multiple curves are key.
Yes. And the road widths too, we can
And
look
road
at
We
that.
did talk about road widths, and so then is it a standard road width? Is it a narrow road width? And then what is the road width number that we go off of for the metric?
Okay, because they're parking on both sides.
And we did talk
And
about
they
the,
need it, they need
ballpark.
at least, or what? What's the standard? They need at least 10 feet, 11 feet, 12 feet, no parking. Road width plus parking on two sides gives you a what?
So I think right now, I should know this off the top of my head, I'd have to look at the design standards, but I believe a 34-foot wide road is, for a neighborhood, is the standard for two-way traffic with parking on each side.
Yes,
And so that's standard. So realistically, we would need a road that is narrower than 34 feet for it to not be standard to move forward with lowering the speed, in my
okay, so
my train of thought, because you would need to say if it's 34 feet, then that's one of the metrics, because that's a standard road width.
what I would recommend for the group is I will meet with Spencer to get some of these criteria down.
Mhm.
You know, to specifics like the R, whatever the R rating is for a density, you know, and the width of the roadway, how many blocks?
It was
And-
also talked about the fact that there's a presence of 2 playgrounds in the neighborhood.
Pardon me?
Right,
The HOA was talking about the fact there's 2 playgrounds in the neighborhood.
Yes,
and is that
and we'll talk about within blocks.
criteria metrics that were, so if your neighborhood doesn't have a playground, then they're not eligible, or is this just an
Something to
extra
talk about,
criteria? And Bob, I'm totally cool with this, but is there any chance we could maybe rope Brianna into this as well? Cause I know that she does a lot of criteria. She looks at a lot more criteria than the rest of us, and so her input would be.
Is that okay?
awesome.
Yeah, maybe we can arrange Spencer and I to come to your office someday and kind of just do this real quickly.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll do that and get it more toned down, so that we can get it really defined and bring it to the committee next month. How's that?
Right?
Okay, thank you. All right. Do that, Bob.
Do you have enough time?
I will find that, I don't like to leave things hanging. I don't like to, that, you guys will change it when I'm gone. But I don't like to just turn things over to the city and say, this is our recommendation and leave it up to them. If we're gonna make a recommendation, we make something solid.
You're doing
And
Yes.
yeah, global, and if they turn it down, that's their problem, but I give you a good piece of my mind.
Yes.
You know what, Spencer? I was gonna offer to take that from Bob, but I think right now I'm gonna let him have one last turn.
I'm okay with that. Me and Bob work good together.
Yeah, we do, we produce a good product. Okay, anything else? New business, I think old business, we don't have the data, one thing I was gonna ask you, about, radar enforcement. It was, from our discussions, it was my impression that something in the legislature passed, and I'm not too sure it was signed, that says, what?
So there is, I reached back out to the representative of what formerly was Red Flex. It's a different company name now. And her and I are currently having a educated discussion about the definition of photo radar and its new ruling. It looks like the ruling did get signed. It was put into get a chapter number or an RS number. And so the governor did sign it, and now with me reaching back out to the company, she's still underneath the interpretation that we need a body to sit behind the camera. Unfortunately, I am trying to present a different presentation to her. And she is currently scheduled to come back on the 12th, in a couple of days, so we'll go from there. I was hoping to talk to AJ today, but I'll touch base with him soon, so we are still unfortunately in limbo.
And if I can add one more thing, they're not the only game in town, so in other words, if we
No,
can't recognize the urgency of this, we can go to another option.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm just using her since she has an established foundation. I'm using her as a reference point, because like, before I go out to,
So let her know we have options.
yeah,
But to confirm, despite the vendor, I look at that as a vendor, okay, a vendor issue.
Yeah, it's a vendor issue.
But to confirm, legislatively, you believe that the legislature passed something that indicates that camera speed enforcement can occur without a officer being physically present.
So my interpretation, currently, my education and my interpretation of this is that Oregon has 2 RSs for photo radar. One photo radar ORS says you have to have a human behind it. Another one is that you do not. And that one that does not, I believe, is the interpretation of the, like, no turn on red, those speed cameras, those type of fixed units. The units that we're trying to get, the mobile units, are the ones that are requiring a human,
Like the one that you see in Milwaukee.
like in Milwaukee,
With the
correct,
van.
Okay,
correct.
so.
Or if we put up a stationary box, that would fall underneath needing a human. If we put it on a telephone pole or mounted it on a light pole, and it was there for eternity, then it did not have to have a person. That's my interpretation,
Okay, so
and that's what I'm working on clarification.
but the new legislature did not
Supposedly resolve that issue.
resolve.
Did. Supposedly the new law said, okay, because Oregon wants to put all new traffic cameras out, go for it and do it, and this is how you can do it. But I think that what that is that it was, people are wishing it for everything, and it's like, no, more of these come out, not these. Does that make sense? It's more of the stationary units.
Okay.
That's what the new law came out and gave us. People read into it and was hoping for more mobile units without people.
Okay, so we do not have clarification.
Correct.
about Mobile units, we do have stationary units.
Correct.
Okay. So just so you can clarify that, eventually I'd love to see us go to the city council with some type of recommendation about what to do. And even if it was permanent units, we could utilize that on our streets in areas that have shown to have high traffic volume and speeding volume. It wouldn't address our small streets, but it could address 13th Street. It could address Holly Street. Territorial, because it would be permanent, relatively permanent. These are not local streets. I don't know what the current vernacular for that is. Those streets would be called feeder streets.
It's for their designation in the transportation system plan. I think currently they're a mix between either arterials or collectors.
Arterials or what?
Arterial or collector, it's a different.
Yeah, but it's those kind of, they're higher level streets.
Yep.
And we all know that they're high level streets. But they could be used for now, and maybe by putting them on, they demonstrate that they have an effect. So our goal continues to be no tickets. We want no tickets, which means everybody is going slow. You know?
Yeah,
Not gonna,
Well, then you get tickets.
as long as Gary's driving.
I'm watching my piece.
I know.
Okay. So,
It's still a work in progress. I've got a lot of work ahead of me.
okay, and we want to move this at least as quickly as we can to at least a discussion before the city council.
Well,
We don't have to have an answer or a recommendation. We would like to move it toward at least awareness about what we think is important, if you guys all agree. You know,
well, question, if we just wanna let city council know that, hey, this is important, we wanna know about it. We can just draft a letter and say, hey, this is what we see needing in the future, we need to emphasize this and let it be. But if we're gonna actually try to implement something,
I think we need to try to implement something, because this is a serious
then
problem.
we need, it's not a vendor issue at this stage of the game. I'm not stopping at a vendor issue. I am stopped at ORS, Oregon law. And I'm working on that.
and we can work on it, Eric, in two ways, is what I'm hearing. One, we can implement permanent speed camera
Correct.
at certain junctions that we know have proven have problems, and then continue to work on mobile units.
Correct.
You know, so we don't have to do all at once. We can
Correct.
go stage one, stage two. And we could even be approaching the city with that as encouraging it to be a legislative goal, that the city would be, they don't have to follow our advice, but encouraging them to use their legislative power to induce the secondary type of change, which would be the mobile units.
Right, and with our state highway going through town, yesterday, Chris, the cop we used to have in here, Chris Mayer.
Yes.
Macon, he was on Grant Street. I went down and got gas at Astro. He came by, he pulled somebody over for speeding on Highway 99.
Right now.
Because he pulled all around by Kathy Ritz and he was writing a ticket.
Mm.
So how does this work out with our radar? Because it's a state highway that he was monitoring with the city street.
Well, my understanding is they have the authorization to monitor 99. And if you look at their pattern, one time Jackie was tracking the pattern of tickets. The far majority of tickets that are being issued are on 99.
Yeah, 60% of their time is devoted to 99.
Okay.
So to answer your question, they can enforce any traffic law in the state of Oregon. So they have that capability.
So I know we compared this to Sherwood situation where they're by their YMCA, they have the traffic, they get the control there, that's gonna give you a ticket on the mail.
Yeah.
And that's a state highway, so they get behind there. Are we comparing apples to oranges, or we just still, can they have exclusive rights to a radar that we monitor our streets?
They, in order to get something on 99E, the state would have to buy out.
Yeah.
So we have to ask permission.
Yeah, and we,
So it's simple as that,
and Clint,
but we have to pay for it.
Oh,
And if there's a camera on 99, would it be adjudicated through our municipal court, or would it go to the state?
Or Clackamas County.
I mean, right now, if our officers are within the city limits, it gets adjudicated at our municipal court,
Yeah,
the fines stay here. If it's like someone gets pulled over at Jarbo's, even if it's our officer, it goes to the county court and the fines go there.
Yeah.
So if we were to have the camera on a state highway, how does that get adjudicated?
And that was
So-
an answer for me to find out.
Can I make,
but, go ahead.
can I make a motion that we do some more research and continue the discussion for next month?
Yes.
I think we need more information.
All those in favor of second?
second motion.
Gary seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I just think it's a lot more.
All right.
Investigation.
Go ahead. We'll try to get something together for next month so that we can kind of move it. My goal is to push this to kind of do a presentation to the city council.
What kind of presentation?
We have to.
I think a song and dance, I'm not too good at dancing, but I heard you are pretty good
Okay, I'll
dancer.
dance, I'll dance if you can sing.
That's fine.
Okay.
I don't think he's caught on yet that nobody wants to get any work done to make sure that he doesn't leave.
That's why I started off with, I have a lot of work to do.
That's why I'm like, let's table this till.
Okay, moving to city staff reports, planning department. Brianna, you've been very patient.
Nothing big to report. If you're gonna ask about Chipotle, they are working with ODOT on their access. But they had their pre-con already. But again, ODOT's timelines are different than ours, so that's where that is. The beer library paid their SDCs, so we're just waiting. It's in his court, really. Other than that, planning commission's doing a lot of work sessions about housing and things like that. Again, that comp plan update is still coming. But yeah, other than that, can answer questions if you have any.
Quick question about grocery outlet.
Grocery outlet is going into the right area.
Yeah, what's that?
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen that business license come through yet, but that is, yeah, that's what we've heard as well.
Is there any idea of what might go into Wayward or Siren Song yet?
No, yeah, we're not sure about that. Hopefully more, restaurants and things like that. But yeah, no update on those either.
The only thing I can offer on that is what night was that? Wednesday night, last week, I ran into Matt Morrissey at the Dos Agaves. He was coming in, I was going out. And I was like, hey, Matt, and two men looked at me. He's like, hi, Tracy. He was with a gentleman named Matt, who's a business developer from Portland who was looking at Wayward. So he's still trying to hand the business off.
Oh, okay.
So we still don't know. It's still all up in the air.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, yeah.
Any other questions for planning? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Public Works.
I think the biggest news on our front is we were successful in hiring 2 new gentlemen onto the Public Works street crew. So they started the week of spring break, and then the second one started last week. So we are back to being fully staffed, and so I'm excited because that means I have time to go out and start tackling some of these yellow curbs that are stacking up on my list while the weather's nice. Yeah, Jerry kind of talked about the CIP projects that we were working on through budget, and that South Ivy did get a contractor awarded, Eagle Elsner. I believe they will get a notice to proceed here in the next couple of weeks. But that project is not scheduled to be completely finished until December of 25. So they've got time to work on getting all the sidewalk in, finishing up the store work in the center, and then paving of the street. But like Jerry said, we're kind of not pushing them until we can get ODOT out of town first. I know that there was some discussion before the meeting started, but we'll do it on record real quick. Is that City Street is, I believe, scheduled to close Monday.
The south and the north and.
As far as traveling across north and south,
Just like-
I don't know if I'm sure that they will, but I haven't received the exact on if you can still turn right off of the highway onto the streets, or if you can come up and turn right onto the highway.
Well, you can't have that over ground.
You can't currently, but the first time that they closed Elm, you were allowed to make right-hand turns. I don't know if they've decided
Maybe
to
thought it was easier just to close.
just close it. It's a very fluid situation with ODOT and KNE on what roads are being opened and closed.
And who's
what-
making those decisions, ODOT or KNE, the closures?
KNE makes a request and then ODOT approves.
Okay.
And I usually find out about it about an hour before.
Did you barricade it like you signed it?
And then you let
So
us know, put it on the traffic page.
I will, as soon as I know I will, because there's been times where, I didn't know that they were closing it, and I was like, oh, this was open a few hours ago, and I tried to get through it, and I can't get through anymore, so I feel everybody's pain on that,
And they're gonna, what Jerry told us on Wednesday was that Ivy was gonna close and Grant would open, but they're gonna keep Elm remaining closed?
Elm is to remain closed for a few more weeks.
Oh.
So the only way to get across town will be at,
Pine and,
Grant?
Pine and Ivy, or Pine and Redwood and Grant.
Yes.
Unless you park on First and carry
Honestly, I have done that because it's everything trying to figure out how to get off.
The trouble is the service stations, all
Yes,
on, on 99 or off 99 a little bit. I mean, that is bizarre trying to get there.
and the way that they have a lot of their traffic control set up, I avoided it for the last week, so I don't know if it's still like that, but even though it's down to one lane in each direction, they've shoved it to the one side of the road because they're working on the other, so if you're driving and you're trying to get into one of the service stations or something on the south, or that should be the east side of however ODOT wants it. You have to cross like 4 lanes and where they got the little bumps. and
Yeah,
paint
it's
that.
ridiculous.
So I will say that as much as I like to try to shop local, I have found it's easier to go to, Oregon City to get fuel than it is to try to get here.
Yeah, or unless you go to space.
True.
Yeah.
But
Do you know, can you comment on the Walnut Street connection to 99?
Jerry had said that, hopefully breaking ground on that next summer.
Okay, so.
Yeah, they've submitted the plans to ODOT. ODOT's review process is, several months, and then once we get that back with an approval, we can go out for bid, select a contractor, select a start date. So realistically, it's still about a year before breaking ground.
And then once they break ground, you know how long it would likely take?
I believe it's probably going to be, I would say, I'm guessing probably a 12 to 14 month process. Probably a little bit less depending on who the contractor would be and what pricing's like at that point in time.
Will there be sidewalks on that roadway?
Yes.
And then one last question, on North Redwood, if you're coming, say, toward 99 from your Public Works,
Mhm.
and you go over the railroad tracks, is there enough room there to have a right turn only? And then have, because traffic stacks up quite a bit, and it seems like if you can sort it out a little bit.
The current. Right now, I don't think, no, there is not enough there to do a 3-lane, with a turn lane, a straight and another turn lane. And I have not even thought about looking into trying to differentiate between what it would take to change instead of a through and a right to go to instead of a dedicated left.
Okay, well, thanks so much, and for everything, you and your team did, and planning too.
It's crazy. And then we also have the bridge someday coming.
The bridge,
Yeah, we
Yes.
should bridge.
That's 2025, right? I thought it was summer 2025 was last I heard.
I thought it was this fall, but I
That's
might
what I
be
thought
wrong.
too. This was ending 99 and that was. gonna
Yeah.
start.
I want to say originally, last time I heard, and the county might have changed. Their
No, you
timeline
could be
again,
right. I mean,
But I think it was scheduled for fall of 24.
I put down target summer 2025.
That would be a better timeline for me.
But I mean, I could be wrong. You may want to check.
I will double check and send something out.
Yeah, because I think it's to summer 2020. I think the process starts probably in,
The paperwork process.
Well, I think they had most of the paperwork process done. I don't know what their reasoning for not starting the project was, because originally they were talking about starting this.
They needed permits.
21,
It was
Yeah,
permits.
they were waiting for some permits and stuff. but
River and water. and-
DEQ.
There's one.
I think it was,
Because, I mean, we've got to expect. Everybody says, oh, this is a 6-month project. You better
it was-
tack on
it was
another,
supposed to be a 4
I
to 6 week project, but I think the one gentleman that came to the commission from the county said realistically expect an 8 to 10 week project, which we all know that those can usually turn into even more weeks, so.
so that is 3,000 cars.
And that's gonna be completely closed, right?
A
It was a
day,
complete closure.
Yeah, they'll divert traffic to Carlo.
And that's.
3,000 cars a day, we're gonna have diverted elsewhere.
And that was for the earthquake.
And the only diversion is 99.
Which is why I'm kind of not really wanting them to start
Yes.
until, again, ODOT.
Oh, not evacuate Sarah town, yes. Leave it.
It's gonna be an awesome place to be once everyone comes in and is finished doing all of their work.
Yeah,
Until then, it's
So
just
that it's a
gonna be.
nightmare.
okay, just thought I'd let you guys up. Okay, thank you, Public Works. City Council liaison?
Let's see, I don't know if I have anything to report that we haven't already discussed. Oh, Brianna, I did hear, from a future tenant of the Beer Library that they're talking next year now. Do we have a timeline?
I haven't heard that. We do have a staff meeting today, so I can check in and report back to you, Tracy, if you'd like.
I would like to know because
Yeah,
I'm frankly, as a citizen getting frustrated, but as a counselor even more so. Yeah, because we thought it was gonna be this summer and this potential tenant is getting frustrated because, you know, he's trying to make money and now they're telling him next year. So
Yeah.
I don't know what, I'd like to get that pinned down. Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah, I'll ask in the staff meeting.
Thank you. And I don't, like I said, I don't really have much to report, but I'm here for questions and I know, Cliff always has a question.
Just out of curiosity, is it accurate that Metro purchased the postal rate acreage down there by Pat's Acres?
Right.
And if so, why?
They're doing, from what I understand, it's a riverland preservation type of situation. I don't think they're going to be developing it. It would be, if anything, parkland or nature trails and that kind of thing.
Thank you, that's all.
It was probably one of those wildlife. Metro has a.
They're buying their land all
Yeah,
along the wall.
Oh, okay.
which makes somewhat sense because that place gets flooded every year. So, I mean, you know.
Yeah, you can't really develop that corner anyway, because, yeah. Plus, there'll be a car in the middle of the building someday.
Okay, board member reports. Yeah,
I had a citizen on a business on Ivy Street actually ask me a question about the walking light that they currently have at Ivy Street, where that's gonna be an intersection light soon. They were wondering if there's been talk about the crosswalk light being moved to possibly be at, I believe it'd be Third and Ivy. Because there's a lot of kids that are walking from the high school trying to cross Ivy Street.
I think we talked about.
we should be, we've already decided that, or we encouraged previously that light be moved to 13th Street and Pine.
Fur, 13th and Fur.
13th and Fir.
So I believe that how that exactly went was that, I believe a motion was made, went through that at the time when the new signal was in and up and operational at Ivy Township, that the commission revisit and look at relocating that push button to the 13th and Fir intersection. So
And
I don't know that it was officially stated that that is going to be moved to that location, but I believe it was at the time to look into relocating it. So technically, there could be a motion to be made to have one looked at for that location at Third.
At that point, you guys,
Yeah.
you can sit down and look at it, but I know we told Mr. Lawley that was a serious consideration, given the speed on 13th and
This,
the older population group, such as my age group, that crosses the street and, you know, are feeble and not able to.
You're
Especially me.
spiritual.
Okay.
Well, and we probably should look at that later too, because the situation in Third and Ivy may change once there's sidewalks on both sides and we have a signal. They can cross at Township and walk down the other side of the road versus walking down and crossing at Third. That situation may totally change once we have the crosswalks and
Correct.
sidewalks and the light in. So,
Good point, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gary?
Not much to add to this. I see a lot of aggressive tickets being given out yesterday here in town, the one Christian talked about, one over by the school that, not in, Ash, I believe it was, and I've seen a lot, yeah, some tickets out there. So other than that, no, I was, think everything seems to be.
Is that where you were walking?
Yeah. Won't catch me walking.
All right, Clint?
I don't have anything to report.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Jackie?
No. I should say thanks for the Can We Please. I think it's 99, they've been doing a lot more enforcement on Southwest 13. Comes, you know, take my dog on a walk and say hi. And then, thanks Spencer for fixing the sidewalk.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, didn't, oh, excuse me, I didn't, but didn't Officer Miller set up a speed trap right after the meeting last month? Because.
I don't know if the speed trap.
Oh, I don't know.
Correct.
But he's probably,
Yes,
he reported a lot of
He
stuff.
did do a
Speed
focused enforcement.
On Holly.
Yes.
Because he was right by my house every day.
And he was extremely occupied.
He was.
During that time, and busy, and
It's,
I talked to him that he did do a lot.
Yeah.
yeah, it was like 13th Street, so the data that is Spencer provides is extremely important and it deals with things, you know? I think it helps citizens get information and things like that, just like
Yeah.
when we actually show them the data, it's a perceptions that we do. Eric?
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Maybe we got sidetracked. So yeah, thank you Spencer for, fixing the sidewalk. It's been nicer to go on a walk.
Sorry that took so long. That was one of the ones that, I think got lost on the erase board,
I'm like,
One
oh,
day.
this is gonna be this.
so.
Yeah, you guys got right out there, cause
Yeah.
when I was driving by, I'm like, yay, they got it.
And the only other thing that I found interesting was yesterday, when they had the softball game, people driving, parking on the sidewalk was interesting. So,
Ooh,
I
that's not good.
think it'd be one of our educational things, take a picture, don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then that's all I have.
Especially with the church parking lot right there, and the church doesn't mind people parking in the lot.
I was just like, wow, what made you think that that was okay? It's like you're blocking the sidewalk.
you know, I know that this is a continuous issue about. I know they say report it to code enforcement, but I don't understand why police officers can't give them a ticket for that. I mean, you know.
I know, it's like, Officer Miller, can you run over here? I'll take your fly home.
I mean, you know, they continuously park on that area that blocks the bike lane and blocks everything, and then they park on the thing. Anyway, okay, Eric. I'm moving along because we're at 10 o'clock already.
Yeah, I have no report.
Okay, and I have talked enough. Already, so, thank you all. That concludes our meeting, and our next meeting is scheduled for May 8th at 8:30 in the morning.
will you be able to continue to come until you're?
Until my house is sold, I will come. And I've let the city know that I'm not resigning until I'm actually out of the thing. But Eric will be, taking over running the meeting, so it'll be probably more orderly and done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Good job today.